Hello, welcome to the Daily Craig Football Show. It is Tuesday, October 11th, 9:45 a.m. in the morning. Hopefully you are having a great day so far. We are wrapping up week 5 of the NFL. We got some people walking by, dogs barking. We'll see what all kinds of noise we get. But we're in the office. We're not downstairs in the new office. Figured we'd stay up here today for our chat about football. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining me. Last night, the Kansas City Chiefs go to 4-1. The Raiders 1-4. Raiders blew a 17-point lead. Everybody knows about the pass interference. All kinds of stuff happening. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs win. A lot of stuff happening, and a lot of people have already talked about it. But Devontae Adams and Renfro running into each other in the final play. First off, you're like, well, that's got to be PI, right? Well, no, not really, because they ran into each other. Patrick Mahomes with a great game. 4 touchdowns, 292 in the air. Travis Kelce, 4 touchdowns. Amazing game for him. 7 receptions, 25 yards, and 4 touchdowns. How about that stat line? That's crazy. Derek Carr played well, 241 with 2 touchdowns. Jacobs, 154 and a touchdown. Adams, 3 receptions, 124 and 2 touchdowns. Really long touchdowns for him. 7-12 on third down for Kansas City, 5-12 for Vegas. Total plays, 69 for Kansas City, 56 for Vegas. So they kind of control the game more. Passing yards, 40 more for Kansas City. Rushing yards, 50 more for Vegas. No turnovers in the games. 3 field goals for Vegas, 1 for Kansas City. And there we go. Some questionable 2-point conversion attempts for both teams. But at the end of the day, Chiefs win. They're 4-1. And, I don't really even know what to say to those guys. 4-1 is 4-1. It's a great start to the season. It's amazing that their one loss is here to Indianapolis. Absolutely crazy to that. But before we get into some other things, let's take a look and see what we got going on here. Coming up on week 6, we got the Commanders and Bears, our Thursday night game. Will that one be as bad as Colts-Broncos? Close. That is going to be a bad watch on Thursday, unfortunately. Sunday at 1 o'clock, we got the 49ers at the Falcons. Patriots, Browns, Jets, Packers, Jaguars, and our Colts. Vikings, Dolphins. Bengals, Saints. Ravens, Giants, Buccaneers, Steelers. So if you kind of look at this, 49ers, Falcons, 49ers make the trip across country again. They were just in Carolina, now they're in Atlanta. Patriots, Browns. Patriots actually looked good last week, really good. Browns did not. Jets and Packers. Jets looked really good. Packers coming off a bad loss against the Giants overseas. We'll see how they react. Jaguars and Colts, amazingly, that's for closing in on the division lead right behind Tennessee. Jaguars kind of come back to earth the last couple of weeks. Vikings, Dolphins. That's going to be a really good game. Dolphins have kind of fallen back the last couple of weeks with some injuries. Vikings have amazingly got the ball to their playmakers and made things happen. Bengals, off the loss to the Ravens at New Orleans. It came off a win, so that'll be a good game. Cincinnati really needs that one. Ravens, Giants is turning into a really good one. Ravens 3-2, Giants 4-1. That's going to be a really good game. Can the Giants defense keep Lamar contained? And then Bucs and Steelers, on paper it looks good, but it's going to be awful. Steelers are terrible. They can't rush the passer. Buccaneers don't have an offensive line. Buccaneers should roll with that. 4 o'clock slate of games. We've got Panthers and Rams. Rams are struggling. Panthers are struggling. New coach, everything like that. We'll see how they do going cross country. Cardinals and Seahawks, both teams at 2-3. But I'm so sorry. I stayed up late watching the game, and I'm tired. I should have got all my yawning out before we went live here, but I'm so sorry. The Seahawks, if you told me they were 2-3, I said they're exceeding expectations. 2-3 for the Cardinals. I don't think they're hitting their expectations. Cardinals they got to get their offense going. Their offense is just spinning their tires. And it's been that way for about 9-10 games now. Bills at Chiefs. This is the 4 o'clock rematch. This is the granddaddy of them all this weekend. 4-1 and 4-1 back at Arrowhead. Great game for these two teams. It's going to be awesome. Sunday night is another good one. Cowboys and Eagles. We don't think we're going to get Dak back, which is probably good for the Cowboys. They need to keep that recipe of running the ball and playing good defense. Eagles are undefeated. And then at night, Monday Night Football, Broncos, Chargers. Broncos offense is terrible. Chargers offense has been up and down, so we'll see what happens. That one is at LA. I would think the Chargers would get the job done there. So that's what we got coming up in Week 6 right now. We've got the AFC. Look at the standings. The Buffalo's 4-1. Jets are a game back at 3-2. Miami's at 3-2, and then New England is at 2-3. Everybody's still within shouting distance. 2 games back for New England. Baltimore is 3-2. Cleveland and Cincinnati are 2-3, and then Pittsburgh's 1-4. Pittsburgh's on the verge of just kind of falling into that. Are they going to have a losing record for the first time under Mike Tomlin? Cleveland and Cincinnati really have got to get together because Baltimore looks really good. Tennessee 3-2, Colts 2-1, Jacksonville 2-3, Houston 1-3-1. I don't even know. You don't think Houston's going to win this division or come close, but then they beat Jacksonville. The Colts and Jacksonville, I have no idea why that is not slanted towards Indianapolis, but it isn't. It's going to be an awful division all year. We'll see what happens. Tennessee appears to be getting some stuff together, though. Kansas City 4-1, Chargers 3-2, Denver 2-3, Vegas 1-4. Vegas at 1-4 is a surprise, but they got to get it together. They're blowing leads. They're not finishing. They just don't look very disciplined, especially with Devontae Adams pushing people off to the game. Come on. NFC East, we've got Philly 5-0, Dallas and the Giants 1-4, and then Washington at 1-4. We've talked about that. Washington is looking really, really kind of pathetic, especially on offense. Ron Rivera said that the problems they have are with the quarterback. And I don't think he means Carson Wentz sucks. He means the play of up, down, up, down, up, down. The other teams in the division are getting nice, solid, comfortable quarterback play. Even though the Giants and Dallas are kind of relying on defense as well, running the ball, doing some things like that. Minnesota 4-1, Green Bay 3-2, Chicago 2-3, Detroit 1-4. Minnesota's looked good, like we said. They're doing what they need to do. They're not asking Kirk Cousins to go win the game and throw for 9,000 yards. They're just playing really good, solid football right now. Green Bay is kind of all over the place. They still don't trust the receivers. We'll see what happens there. Tampa 3-2, New Orleans 2-3, Atlanta 2-3, Carolina 1-4. Tampa's going to win this division. The question is, can they get healthy enough when they win the division to make some noise in the playoffs? New Orleans needs to get it together. Their offense is better than what they've been doing. Atlanta has kind of been a surprise. They're kind of in rebuild, but they have looked responsible, or respectable, not responsible. In Carolina, let's see what happens with the new coaching, the head coach here, as things have changed. Out west, San Fran's 3-2, Rams and Arizona and Seattle all 2-3. It's crazy that the Rams are only a game out. They've looked really, really bad this year. They've struggled, and I guess we'll kind of see what happens there moving forward. But one last thing to touch on here before we wrap up. Here's the deal. This roughing the passer is out of control. It is. This roughing the passer is something that has basically gone from you can go in and just tackle and land and roll around with the quarterback to, like last night and even against Tom Brady, you tackle him and you kind of land on him, it's a penalty. One way of thinking is, are you kidding me with this? This is not two-hand touch. This is not Mississippi. Everything like that, the Mississippi where you count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, things like that. That's not what this is. It's tackle football. So basically, the question is, are you going to let these guys go and tackle each other? And you need to protect the quarterback. I understand the low hits on the knees to prevent big injuries. And I understand the picking up and slamming into the ground or throw the ball, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, bam, a hit. But the actual football play being called is ridiculous. You got to go one of 2 ways. Let them play and still protect them. Or, like I said, if you want it to be, you can't touch a quarterback and they have flags or something like that, then okay, that's crap, but people will adjust to that. What we're doing now is insane. It literally is nuts. But it's the NFL protecting their product. Chad Henne is the backup for the Chiefs. Do you really want to watch the Bills with Allen versus Henne coming into next weekend? Do you really, really want to watch the I'm I'm trying to think of the backups. What's just the backup for Baltimore go in there? My point is, the NFL is protecting their investment. They're protecting their brand. They're protecting their players. So the quarterbacks are the stars. The quarterbacks are the ones that make the money. The quarterbacks are the face of the franchise. The quarterbacks are the one that move the needle. This Allen versus Mahomes matchup is going to be on every single media outlet starting today, building that game up for 4 o'clock on Sunday. It just is. Carson Wentz is going to be the face of Thursday Night Football with Fields because the Commanders and the Bears are playing. You get what I'm saying. So the NFL is not stupid. They're not telling people not to tackle people and do things like this. It's just one of those things where I just don't understand the rationale of some of the calls. I don't understand why it's occurring, but I do understand because they have to protect the quarterbacks and they do want to protect the brands. So the roughing the passer will be something that, yes, the NFL will look at, and they're going to look at some of these, and they're probably going to come out this week and say, well, that was one, and that was not one, and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, they are going to review and monitor and keep their quarterbacks safe. That's what they're going to do because those are the people that move the needle. So it's going to get, this is all kind of a reaction off Tua because he really was hurt and then was allowed to go back in. So we've got the concussion issue going on. We've got roughing the passer issue going on. As the NFL season goes, it's just maneuvers and adjusts and adapts. There's a lot going on, and we'll learn some more during the week. Are we going to see a suspension from Devontae Adams? They're off this week, so we're going to see what happens. I don't think there's going to be suspension, but probably a fine. We're going to see probably a little bit of updates and some kind of, we're going to tighten up the roughing the passer calls. We're going to see that be addressed. And then the concussion thing, now it's gone from one side to the other, where if you have any symptoms at all, if there's any fear or anything like that, even if you pass the concussion test, they were still keeping people out. So a lot of things to the NFL have got to continue to adapt, continue to adjust. We'll see what happens as we move forward this week. 2 big games in college football. We got Penn State going to Michigan. That's going to be huge. Michigan's going to have a maze out. It's going to be really, really fascinating, really, really cool to see. And then Alabama goes to Tennessee. That's going to be a really, really good game. I can't wait to watch both of those. Early picks, I think Michigan gets it together. They have just been kind of playing to their competition the last few weeks with Iowa and Indiana. Not exactly looking amazing in half. Second half against IU was really, really good. And Tennessee they throttle down and they move. They get that ball and go. They have to have, Alabama has to have the quarterback back. They have to. They have to, or they don't really move an offense, and it's really kind of questionable what they're up to. So anyway, it'll be a good weekend of football. Some great games here in Indianapolis. We've got the Jaguars coming to town. I don't know. I mean, you'd think the Colts are better than the Jags, but you have no idea what team's going to show up. The Colts play well against good teams. I don't know if you call Jags a good team, but they have looked better. So anyway, it'll be a good week. It was a good week 5. I think last night was a real interesting game. That roughing the passer, the 2-point conversions were stupid. I don't know what we were doing. And just there was so many kind of questionable things, but Travis Kelce with a huge game. Mahomes as well. Andy Reid got the job done. So anyway, thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. Hopefully you have a great Tuesday. And then tomorrow being Wednesday, we'll check in and still kind of get ready for the weekend. We'll go over some injuries, see what's going on in the world of professional football and college football, and start to get ready for week 6. So thank you so much for being here. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.